All right, we are live. Gonna give it a little time for people to come in. We're gonna be talking about the current Bitcoin situation. My thoughts, is it time to panic sell because we're going back down to zero? Is it time to buy at a discount? There's a lot of things to look at, a lot of things to talk about today. I am going to be looking at the Bitcoin chart, and we're just going to go through some TA, and we are going to, analyze this from a level-headed, calm perspective and come up with a plan, because the most common way people get wrecked in these markets is by trading without a plan. We need to have a plan. And let's take a look at what's happening. I'm just going to wait for some more people to come in here. We got a few. So that's great. All right. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. And if everything's good, then we're just gonna go on with the live stream here. And if you're watching this after the fact, I will leave some timestamps in the description, and then we can take it from there. All right. So if you guys can hear me, let's get started with this then. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin charts right here. Some very interesting things going on. So in my live stream yesterday, we were following the Bitcoin 4-hour chart here, where we saw that this 21 EMA was acting as support. Basically, this was carrying the uptrend. This 21-day exponential moving average, this yellow line right here, ever since we crossed over this, right before the Elon Musk Twitter thing, where he changed his Twitter bio to say Bitcoin, this 21 moving average EMA was acting as support. So every time we came down and hit this EMA, we bounced back off, and we kept bouncing off this 21 EMA. At the same time, ever since February 7th, this trend line right here was acting as support. So I was saying yesterday, breaking down through this trend line is very significant because it's a 2-week trend that's been broken. And then if we zoom in right here, we can see we actually came back up to test that trend line, and we were completely unable to get through it. In fact, we rejected off this trend line and the 21 EMA perfectly, and this trend, this uptrend, is officially broken. So what is going to happen now? It's very interesting. If we zoom in and take a look at a lower time frame, maybe the 5-minute time frame here, we see something else. We see that we've been forming a new trend line in this downtrend right here on a smaller time frame that's acting as resistance. 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests, 4 tests, and then we finally just broke through this short-term trend line. So this is actually a very good sign that we may have hit a bottom, because we were forming a trend downward, and we've actually broken up through this trend. Now I want to take a look at some other significant levels that I have marked out, and after we discuss that, we're going to talk about how we should approach this moving forward. Is Bitcoin going to crash down to zero, or is this a great opportunity to buy? Now I do want to say a few things before I get into it, which is Bitcoin, unless you just got into Bitcoin a few days ago, everybody is currently in profit right now. Everybody. And it's very healthy to have pullbacks like this. This is looking very similar to what we saw back in January, right here at the beginning of January, where we had this huge move up and then we had a dip down. And actually, that crash back in January was about 30%, and what we are seeing right now is also about 22%. So it wouldn't be that crazy if we came all the way down to, 40,000. That would not be so crazy. And I actually want to talk about that for a second, because we came up so fast in the month of February, and we didn't have time to form any solid levels of support and resistance, because when the price action stays kind of sideways for a while, we have the opportunity to form these support and resistance levels. But when we just fly through like this, we don't have much time to form these types of support and resistance. So it's really easy for the price to come down and just keep going until we get to levels like these that I have marked out. So right here at the 49,794 level, we had a very key level of resistance that then got flipped into support. You can see it took us a long time to break through to $50,000. We tested it once, we tested it twice, we tested it 3, 4, and then on the 5th time we finally broke out, and then we retested it. If we zoom in a little bit to the 1 hour chart, we can see more clearly what took place here at the 50,000 level. We tried to break through so many times, and then once we broke through, we retested it, and then we came up and continued on with that trend. Then the next significant level here was around the 48,000. We had a really intense level of support and resistance at 48,000, because if we look at the chart here, it was resistance. We couldn't break through. Serious resistance. It was resistance from February 11th all the way to February 13th. We could not break this level. Then it got flipped into support, and then it got flipped back into resistance, back into support, support twice. That was a very key level. Now obviously we've fallen through that. And then the next level was right here at the 44,000 level, where we couldn't quite break to 45. It was resistance, resistance, support, support, resistance. And if you're new, this is how you're going to mark out key levels, is you're going to look for places where price has touched a lot. And then what you're going to do is it's not necessarily a line you're looking for, it's more of an area like this. You'd say is an area where price tends to stick. Because look at this. Back in on February 8th at the 50,000 level, where we had all this price action happening for days, is exactly where we came down to this morning when we came back down to 44,850. And so we don't really know what's going to happen yet. We're going to get more into my thoughts, but our next significant level would be this level right here at around 42,000. And the reason for that is because if we go back in time to the beginning of January, look at all the liquidity and all the price action that happens at this level right here. We had, this was resistance, and then flipped it to support, and then back to resistance, back to support, and then back on February 6th, this was resistance again. We rejected off of that, and then finally we broke through it on February 8th. So, if we break through this level right here, 44,865, the only other place we have to go is down here to the 42, I'd say between $41,000 and $42,000. Now, of course, what we need to do now is we need to look at this, and we need to come up with a plan. Because if you're a trader and you're looking to trade these markets, the last thing you want to do is go off of emotion. You don't want to go off of emotion, because that is going to get you destroyed in these markets. So we've looked at our levels. Now let's take a look at Market Cipher and kind of map out a plan here. I do want to point out, remember, we did just break through and confirm a 1 hour candle over this trend line that we had been following from about last night at 10 p.m. all the way until this morning at 7 p.m. Eastern time in the U.S. Let me see if there's any questions in the chat here real quick. Okay, no, but there's some people here. Appreciate you guys. I do. I really do. Y'all are the best. You guys are the best. Okay. On the 1 hour chart here, we're starting to form some big green dots on Market Cipher, which is a sign that we're hitting a bottom. So, you know, there might, if you're trading on shorter time frames, there might be a good long opportunity here. In fact, just in general, let's put this whole thing into perspective. You know, Bitcoin is extremely bullish right now, extremely bullish. I mean, if we just zoom out here to the daily time chart, would anybody look at this chart? If I remove the drawings here temporarily and say that we're in a bear market, on the daily we did not close under the 21 EMA, and even if we do close under the 21 EMA, like happened back here in January, this is not a bear market. We are clearly in an uptrend here. So I would say if you are a long-term buyer and holder, this would be a great time to buy. A great time to buy Bitcoin. Obviously, if you're a more short-term trader where you're holding swing trades, you know, you might want to zoom in and look for a better entry. But if you're not really trading, you're just, you know, holding Bitcoin as a speculative asset, as an investment, wow, buy the dip, right? Buy the dip. If you had bought the dip right here, you know, during this kind of crash, you know, of course we went down a little after that. We went down, you know, 15% after you would have bought, but then we went back up, you know, 75%. So, you know, if you're just buying to hold, I would say this is a good time to buy. In fact, I'm trying to buy some right now. You know, even if we come down, you know, 15% back to 40,000, if we go back up another 75%, you know, you're looking at an $85,000 Bitcoin. So I don't want anybody to be freaking out here that Bitcoin is going to crash, because we're not crashing. This is just a retracement. This is normal, part of a healthy market. Okay, so what are our plans moving forward? Well, you know my strategy, which is I use Market Cipher to trade. And the reason I use Market Cipher is because it's so much more reliable than just using, you know, regular support and resistance lines. Because support and resistance, it doesn't really tell you the momentum of the market. It doesn't really tell you the sentiment of buyers and sellers. Let's see here. Let's draw this trend line back again. Man, look at this perfect rejection we had off of that. That's perfect. Now, it looks like, you know, things are looking pretty good right now, that we might come up and test this moving average again. So here's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a few things. I'm looking for a trigger wave, an anchor wave on the 4-hour time frame. That is going to signal to me that I am going to start looking for a long position again. I'm basically looking for what happened back in January. If we take a look at what happened back in January in this area right here, where we had that correction and period of consolidation. Once we got an anchor wave on the 4-hour, and then we got that trigger wave on the 4-hour, this would have been a great opportunity to enter a long position right here on this candle here, and we could have gotten a nice little 14% gain on that. And then once we started to form more and more trigger waves on the 4-hour, those were all really great opportunities to get in some nice longs. Like right here, we could have had another, you know, 7% move up over the course of 2 days. And then again, right here, we formed an anchor wave on the 4-hour. And whenever we form an anchor wave on the 4-hour, sorry about that, let me make this bigger. Whenever we form an anchor wave on the 4-hour that has the money flow in the red, this is really where we want to start paying attention. Because forming an anchor wave on the 4-hour where the money flow is in the green, right here, okay, that's okay. We like that because it'll give us a good short-term trade. Once the money flow goes into the red on the 4-hour Market Cipher B and we get this anchor wave with a green dot, this is where we're going to be looking for a really long-term swing trade, like a really long-term swing trade. Because obviously, you know, once we get this anchor wave and then we get these tighter little trigger waves, we can enter, small longs here if we want to, but my strategy is I never really enter a long if the money flow is in the red on the 4-hour time frame. I would only ever enter a short. But what I'm looking for is I'm looking for this on the 4-hour. These are where the great, awesome long-term swing trades come in. You get this anchor wave on the 4-hour. You get a trigger wave on the 4-hour. The money flow is still in the red. All this momentum is building. Then you get a tight trigger wave on the 4-hour, and you've got this clear momentum coming upwards, right? We saw this, the shape of Market Cipher is literally like, like the sea serpent coming down and then coming up. And once you get this tight trigger wave on the 4-hour where the money flow has officially crossed into the blue on my Market Cipher, into the green on most people's Market Ciphers, that is where you enter a long. Now, I was in a long. I'm not even kidding you guys. I was in a long, and I entered a little bit earlier because I was using the daily time frame here, but I was actually in a long from January 28th, right when we came up above this 21 EMA. I guess from right around here, January 28th, when we got a trigger wave on the daily, I entered a swing trade, a long-term swing trade, and I was in that right the night before the Elon Musk pump happened. So I was in and I got out. When did I kept moving my stop loss up, and I think I probably got stopped out yesterday night, probably around 55. So I made almost a 75% gain on that swing trade, and of course I was taking profits out along the way. I was moving my stop loss up. But if you look for these kind of entries, they don't come very often, but when they come, man, they are awesome. They are awesome. Just ride these things. Ride these things. Because I'm not a scalper. I want to get more into scalping. I really don't have the time to do it. But the thing is, if you are scalping, and these things are still very significant to you, but if you don't have time for that, and you just want to enter maybe like one, if you just got in, let's say 3 or 4 of these trades a year, and you're making 75% 4 times a year, I mean, that's a lot. 75% 4 times a year, that's 300% in a year. I mean, most people are happy with their investments, from standard investing if they're making like, 3% a year or 5% a year, or, now with crypto, people are happy when they, stake their crypto and they make like 8% a year. But you just made 300% a year by entering 4 trades. You can't go wrong with that, guys. You cannot go wrong with that. All right. Let's see. Do we have any questions here? My thoughts on Ethereum. Can I go live stream when I take a trade? Yeah, maybe I can. You know what the problem is with that? A lot of times, like, if it's time for me to enter a trade, I have to like enter the trade, and it's usually not a time where I'm available to live stream. But if I ever am available, I will totally do that. My thoughts on Ethereum. Let's talk about Ethereum a little bit. Do I use leverage? I do not use leverage, guys. If I do use leverage, it's extremely low leverage. And here's the reason why. Most of my trades are long-term, and I need to allow for some volatility. Like, let's come back to the chart here. I need to give myself a lot of breathing room, right? Like, if I'm entering a long-term trade, I need to think, okay, even though I'm convinced the price is going to go up, I need to allow for like 14, 15% to the downside if I'm in a long. And I don't want to get liquidated. My strategy with trading is the small consistent gains add up over time. So if I enter a long, with $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 worth of Bitcoin, and I'm just holding that trade for a month making 75%, I'm okay with that $7,000 gain. If I enter $10,000 into a trade, that's a $7,000, $7,500 gain over a month if I'm making 75%. So I'm kind of looking at this over the long term. Small gains add up. It's like for me, if I'm in a long-term swing trade, like I might make a couple grand on that swing trade. Anywhere between like $2,000 to $5,000 to $7,000 over the course of maybe a month. If I am, yeah, Richard, I'm talking about this now. You know, I don't use leverage. The highest leverage I've ever used for a long-term swing trade is 2x. And really, the only reason I did that was because I wanted to still have some liquidity in my account to make smaller term trades. Now, people who use high leverage, especially like new traders, it's playing with fire. The only reason exchanges give you the opportunity to use such high leverage is because exchanges need to get paid. Exchanges need to get paid, and they know that, you know, new traders are going to come in, they're going to get greedy, and they are going to get liquidated. And then who do you think gets that money? The exchange. You know, they have so much incentive to allow you to use leverage. And for shorter term trades, you know, maybe at the most I'll use 5x. But I always make sure my liquidation price is so low that it's absolutely insane to think that the price is going to get there, especially in an uptrend. Because then I don't have to worry about it. And here's another thing, guys. If you're trading and you can't think about anything else except this trade, and you're constantly looking to check what the price is, and every time you see a red candlestick you freak out and you don't know whether to stay in or get out, then that means you're trading with too high leverage or too much money. This is not really a get-rich-quick scheme. I know online you see all these traders that are making tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars per trade. You know, that takes time. This is a skill that we need to build up over time. When you start out, never ever put all your crypto into your trading account. I recommend doing 10 to 15%. If you have 10 Bitcoin, don't put more than 1 Bitcoin into your trading account. And every time you enter a trade, never risk more than, I would never risk more than 5% of my total trading account at the very most. So if you have 1 Bitcoin in there, then I would never risk more than 0.05 Bitcoin. Now, that doesn't mean you're trading with 0.05 Bitcoin on the trade. That just means your stop loss or your liquidation level will not allow you to lose more than 5% of your trading account. If you trade this way, the gains will be smaller, but small consistent gains will add up over time. People don't understand this. I mean, imagine if you had $100 worth of Bitcoin last year at this time. That $100 worth of Bitcoin would probably be what was Bitcoin back then? It was like $4,000 or $5,000. Okay, so what did? We 10x'd. So now your $100 last year is worth $1,000 this year. So if you're making small gains on trades, don't be discouraged about that, because Bitcoin is an asset that appreciates in value over time. You know, if you're trading Ethereum right now, and if you're making like 0.1 ETH per trade, or even 0.05 ETH, well, imagine when Ethereum is 10K, 20K, right? Which is not out of the picture for this bull cycle. Those small little pieces of Ethereum that you're stacking up over time are going to be worth a lot in the future. So don't get so caught up about the dollar value of your small gains. You know, focus on honing in your skill. Focus on, you know, being consistent over time. Don't focus on making money. The focus should be on preserving your capital so that you can make money in the future. And then, you know, honing your skill. That's what this should be about. So that's how I feel about leverage, guys. What do I think about trading on Revolt Internet banking platform? I never heard of it, Rich. I'm sorry, man. Is my 4-hour and 24 strategy compatible with other assets? Here's the deal about my strategy that I'm using for Bitcoin trading. I've been using it for Bitcoin, and I've been using it for Ethereum. Okay, and man, my Ethereum chart's sloppy, guys. Sorry, but I've been using it for Bitcoin and been using it for Ethereum. It works well with both Bitcoin and Ethereum. You know, Ethereum is forming some nice bottoms where the money flow is coming into the red on the 4-hour. So I'm definitely starting to look for a long soon. When it comes to other assets like Link and USDT and these types of things, I find that I need to change the time frame. Now, honestly, I don't really trade Litecoin and Link as much as I trade Bitcoin and Ethereum, just because the markets for Bitcoin and Ethereum are so much smoother moving and easier to predict. But I found in back testing and trading, because I do trade these things sometimes, you need to adjust the time frames. There's something synergistic about the 4-hour and the 24-minute when it comes to Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I think it's just all the trading volume. So Africa, Masuku, that's Donnie. If you want to trade on the 15-minute chart, what other chart should you look at? You know, that's a good question, man. For me, you know, when I'm trading, I don't trade the 15-minute chart. For some reason, I have found that the lower time frames are best using multiples of 6 or 3. Like, the lowest I will go is a 3-minute time frame. I'll go to the 6-minute time frame, the 12-minute time frame, the 24-minute time frame. For some reason, and I don't know why, but the way the candlesticks open and close on those multiples of 3 and 6, it really just helps. So I will sometimes look at the 12-minute chart along with the 4-hour chart to kind of predict what's going to happen on the 24-minute chart. I hope that makes sense, Donnie. So, you know, this is the strategy that I've been outlining in most of my videos. Like, it's just a template, and you can always tweak it and look for other things. It's constantly expanding for me. Yeah, I did forget to. What's up, Clinton? Yeah, thanks, man. I got the screen in Zoom, right? Yeah, it's nice. So Ethereum, let's talk about Ethereum. Ethereum is basically doing the same thing that Bitcoin is doing, right? Let's clear off this sloppy chart and mark out some levels here. Let's make Market Cipher be really small just for a second. So, you know, with Ethereum, we've also been using that 21 EMA. It's been support for a long time. It's basically been acting as support since the end of January. And then, you know, obviously we broke below it a few times, but nothing like this. So let's see if we can draw some trend lines here and kind of see what we can see. I'd say this would be a valid trend line right here. You know, we had a fake breakdown right here, but really, if we look at this more, I mean, these were bullish dojis here, so I wouldn't really consider this a breakdown. And you know, we also, we dropped. I say the Ethereum drop is worse than the Bitcoin drop. Let's zoom in and see if we can see a downtrend that we're following, similar to Bitcoin. Yeah, maybe this, right? Possibly something like this. I would consider this a trend line because we had 1-2 touches here, and it's basically kind of following down that 21 EMA. You know, guys, the 21 EMA is great dynamic support and resistance. And you know what else is really great is you know, the VWAP on Market Cipher SR. I'm actually gonna talk about this more because I've actually been incorporating the VWAP into my strategy with the 24-minute and the 4-hour, and it's actually been really awesome in backtesting. I'm gonna make a video about that soon. But yeah, it looks like we broke above this short-term downtrend here, and it looks like we might be heading down for a retest of the 21 EMA. I mean, the same thing with Ethereum, guys. I mean, these assets are so bullish in general that it's dumb to get bearish about them. And these are just periods of consolidation that are necessary for a healthy market. So same deal. Let's pull up our Market Cipher. I'm looking for the same thing that I would look for on Bitcoin. I'm really stoked to see that the money flow is curving purple here on the 4-hour Market Cipher B, because we can clearly see this kind of movement where we're diving down into the water. And I mean, look at this. This is really just perfect. This is awesome. You know, whenever we see this, I get excited because I know that there's going to be some really good trades coming up in the future. And once we come back up out of the water, You know, because Ethereum is so bullish, you know, I think we're going to hit a new all-time high. I think we're going to see a 25K Ethereum soon. You know, when things get fearful, when the market gets fearful, that's when we should be stocking up on our long-term holdings, our long-term crypto holdings. And you know, it wouldn't be too crazy to see a $25,000 Bitcoin anytime soon. I know it's 61%, but you know how cryptocurrency moves. So if we get some confirmations for Ethereum, you know, that would be a really great long opportunity. And if you're just holding Ethereum, you know, and you're not actively trading it, you know, buy the dip. And this is a dip. I mean, we were saying, you know, I remember people saying we're never going to see Ethereum under 15,000 again. People were saying that, right? When it broke 15,000, man, we came all the way down to 13,050. What a great buying opportunity that would have been. What an awesome buying opportunity. By the time this bull cycle is over, we are going to we're going to be happy. Those of us who didn't panic sell, who held through all this, you know. Yeah. What do I recommend to stay longer in a good trade? I always get out very soon. Flare that. Okay, flare that. Let me talk about this, okay? If you want to stay in a long-term trade, there's a few things you need to do. The first thing is never risk more money than you are willing to lose, because if you put a lot of money on the line, right? Let's say you only have $10,000 in your account. Let's say you only have $1,000, and you put all $1,000 into that long-term trade, and it goes down 15%, right? And now you're down 150 bucks. You're like, dang, I'm down so much, and this is 15% of my whole trading account. And then it goes back up, and it goes back up 5%. You're like, oh, I'm finally in profit again. I'm finally in profit again. $50 in profit. Now I'm going to get out of the trade because I just had this traumatic experience where I almost lost 15% of my whole account, and now I'm up. I'm just going to take my gain, and I can stop worrying about it. If you're putting too much money into a trade, you're not going to be able to stop worrying about it. You're not going to be able to let it ride. If you're entering a long-term trade, here's what you need to do. You need to come up with your plan, right? Let's say you say, okay, I'm going to wait. If you're trading Ethereum, you say, I'm going to wait for a trigger wave, which let's say we come down and then we come up and then we get a tight trigger wave right here on the 4-hour. You say, okay, I'm going to wait for that trigger wave on Ethereum. And then I am going to, you know, enter in on my lower time frame confirmation. You are then going to set your stop loss, right? You're going to enter your trade. You're going to set your stop loss to the appropriate amount that you're willing to risk. Let's say it's 5% of your whole account. So if you have $1,000, that would be $50. You're going to set a rough take profit, and you're just going to let this thing ride, man. You're just going to let this thing ride, and then you're going to walk away, and you're not going to check the charts every 2 seconds. You're not going to check Bybit. You're not going to worry about it. You're just going to let it ride. And yeah, you might go into some drawdown, right? The price might go down. You might be in the red for a while. Don't worry about it. You made a plan. Stick to your plan. Your plan includes possibly getting stopped out. That's part of your plan. And then every time, you know, let's say the price comes up to here, then you are going to take some profit. Just take some profit. And then move your stop loss into break even or even move it into a little profit. So move your stop loss from down here into, let's say, like right here. So now, worst case scenario, you exited that trade in profit. You made money on that trade. Now you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about it at all. Until maybe we get up here. Oops, I don't know what I just did there. You don't have to worry about it, and if the price comes up even higher, let's say it comes up to here, take a little bit more profit out, you know? If you entered a trade and you entered with $1,000, you know, maybe take like 200 out at your first take profit, take like another 150 out up here, and as you get higher and higher, take more out, you know, maybe take 300 out. If we get all the way up here, take 500 out. And you can also keep moving your stop loss up so that regardless now, this is a winning trade for you. That's the best way to stay in a trade. Yeah, guys. So I'm gonna start winding this thing down here. Appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you. Really helps support the channel. Right. This is no Lux. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. This is not gambling, and here's why. If you're gambling, right, and you're going up to a slot machine and you're pulling that, if you're pulling that thing, right, that handle, you have absolutely no way to look at the slot machine beforehand and do technical analysis and say, which picture is going to land on the slot machine? Is it going to be the cherries? Is it going to be the pot of gold? You have no way to do that. Trading is a skill. It's not gambling. It takes a lot of skill. It takes technical analysis. It takes risk management. It takes honing in your psychology to make sure you can stay in a long-term trade because you know that you made a plan. And your plan has calculated into that plan how much you're willing to risk. You know, you've back-tested your strategy. You know, okay, this strategy wins 7 out of 10 trades, let's say. So you know 70% of your trades are going to be profitable. You know that your losses are always going to be smaller than your wins, so you're always going to be profitable. So this is really not gambling. It's very different than gambling. Some people gamble when they trade. Some people just go on to Bybit and they see a big old blue candlestick coming up and they're like, all right, going long, 10x. And then they get liquidated. That's gambling. Real trading is not gambling. It's doing your analysis, coming up with a plan, and then sticking to it. Let's see, David. Been using Market Cipher for 2 weeks and still can't get the green dots quite right yet. Yeah, David, so I would recommend watching, just like Clinton says, you know, go back, watch Crypto Faces tutorials. Watch the videos on my channel here. Let me see if I can. I'm going to pull them up so you can see them here on my channel. Oh, look, here I am, Jason Casper live. Man, so famous on the YouTubes. 96 watching, man. I'm like a celebrity over here. What the heck? Did you guys see this? What is up with this thumbnail here? Okay. Sorry. Alright, David, so go to my channel. I recommend that you watch this video right here. My Market Cipher Bitcoin trading strategy. Win every trade. Obviously, this is a slightly clickbaity title. You're never going to win every trade, okay? But you're going to win most of them if you incorporate these types of steps. Then watch this. Create a winning Market Cipher strategy. This will walk you through how you're going to create your own strategy based on your own lifestyle, your own trading style, your own goals in this. And then watch some of these other videos too. Another good one I'd say is how to win every pattern breakout. This one I'd say to win every pattern breakout is pretty much you'll win every pattern breakout. Because if you see a pattern and Market Cipher is clearly showing you that the market is moving in a certain direction, it's pretty much a surefire win. So check these out. Check out Crypto Faces videos, Flopping Groper. Flopping Groper actually just put out a really good video if you're into scalping, entering longs in an uptrend with Market Cipher. You know, subscribe to him. I don't know why I'm subscribed on my personal channel, so I'll sub to him here too. But you know, he has some really great videos too. And then just go on the Market Cipher website and watch those original tutorials, and you will get the hang of this, man. I'm serious. Yeah, they've been saying it for years in the media, Lux, that, and right, Mervyn Lee, you're right, the green dots they're just an indicator to look for long. It doesn't mean to long. Yeah, they've been saying Bitcoin's in a bubble forever. In fact, I made a video about this 3 years ago. In fact, I don't even know if I can find this video anymore. It was a while ago. I think it's right here. Huge Bitcoin recovery coming soon, 100%. This was right after we had the huge crash from 20K down to like 3K, where I like go through all the times that, you know, Bitcoin, where the media was saying, oh, it's just a bubble, and then every time it crashed, they're like, see, it was a bubble, and then it always comes back to a new all-time high. I mean, Bitcoin is it's pretty unstoppable. I mean, yeah. And I go through the articles in the media that talk about that too. My opinion on ETH, do I think it's entering a bear market? No. Borden, I do not. I do not. Because Mo, a super chat. Thanks, man. Wow, I've never gotten a super chat in my life. This is crazy. In fact, I have to be honest with you guys. I don't even know how to I don't even know how to like take money out of my Google AdSense. Like I have money in here. I used to monetize my videos back in the day, but I figured I just hate what YouTube's become. I don't even want to put ads on my videos anymore. But thanks, Mo. I really appreciate that. Biggest loss and gain in a single month of trading for me? Okay, so let me talk about this. When I first got into trading, on Bybit especially, and before I had a plan, I would gamble, right? I would gamble. I would see a giant candlestick going up, and I'd be like, oh man, it's my time. This is my time to get in a good trade. You know, 10x leverage, put like 50% of my account, boom. And this one day, I was in a really bad frame of mind, I was tired, I was underslept, overworked. I was looking at the charts all night, and I saw a giant green candlestick. I entered along with leverage. It went down, so I flipped the trade. I entered a short, and then it went back up. I flipped the trade, entered along. I ended up losing like $1,000 in like 10 minutes, man. That's crazy. And I think I did that probably 2 or 3 times that whole month. So maybe my biggest loss in a month was $3,000. My biggest gain in a month, to be totally honest with you, was during this month of January. And the reason is because I really was getting the hang of Market Cipher then and realizing how I could enter these long-term trades. Because before Market Cipher, I was just using, you know, basic TA, support and resistance, Fibonacci levels, looking at volume, stuff like that. And I didn't have the confidence to stay in longer-term trades like I did now with Market Cipher. So I think altogether in January, I definitely made a few grand. I know for that long-term trade that was 75%, I probably exited that with about $5,000, and then my other little trades. But it's hard to say because it's always changing, right? Like I'm measuring. You know, I'm not measuring in US dollars. I'm just stacking my crypto because to me, having more crypto is more important than US dollars. Thank you so much for that super chat, by the way, man. That's my first super chat ever. I should do something for you, man. Okay, let's see what else. Do you always have to wait, Jonas? For the 4-hour green dials confirmed sometimes. Yeah, so here's what I do, man. It really depends on your risk tolerance, right? So for me, sometimes I don't wait for the 4-hour to confirm if I'm feeling risky, right? But it adds more risk to the trade. The more confirmations you have, the more sure you can be that the price is going to move in your favor. So you might miss out on part of the move if you wait for the 4-hour to confirm. Right? You might miss out on that 4-hour candlestick price action. So let's say, you know, just like right here, for example, just as an example, this you got a green trigger wave on this 4-hour candle right here. Okay, so that might have started printing when the candle was like way down here, right? And you would have missed out on, say, almost 2.5% of that move. But at the same time, you have to remember that what was just happening, you just had a blue candle and then a purple candle, right? So, and at the beginning of this blue candle actually started by, if we really look, this purple candle wicked all the way down to here. So it didn't start out as a green candle. It started out as a purple candle coming down. So there's a lot of volatility going on. I wouldn't trust this. Well, sometimes I do it, but if we're sticking to our strategy of only entering with our confirmations, you can't trust this green dot and you can't trust this blue candle until it's confirmed. You can say, look on your smaller time frames and extrapolate and say, I really think it's going to confirm, so I'm going to enter now to get that extra 2.5%. But you're also risking when you're risking that, you know, it might come back down and you'll get stopped out. And really, when we look at this trade that we could have made, that 2.5%, you know, in the big long term, what is that? What is that really? I mean, we made, you know, let's say we would have gotten out here, or even if we had gotten out here, right, when the 4-hour red dot was there, you know, it's a 9% gain. If we had gotten out here, that's a 5% gain. You know, I would take that. You know, it's less risky. Yeah, market correction, market retracement. Oh, you're right, man. I should screenshot this super chat. Boom. That's true. The American financial minister is a blockchain supporter, but not necessarily Bitcoin. Yeah, you're right. I mean, obviously, I think the government hates Bitcoin, but I think, unfortunately, guys, what's going to happen is, you know, the original intent that Satoshi Nakamoto had to, like, destroy all central banks and stuff. I probably shouldn't talk about this, but that's definitely not going to be realized. I think that world governments are going to find a way to harness the power of Bitcoin into their control, but I'm not gonna wax conspiratorial on this channel. Mo, thanks, man. Is it worth doing $30 trades on Bybit, or are fees too much? Well, it depends on your leverage, to be honest with you. You know, if you only have $30 to trade, what I would do, to be totally honest with you, Mo, if you're interested in scalping, you know, practice little tiny scalps here and there, and maybe not scalps, but like, you know, day trading where you're in a trade for an hour, 2 hours, and, you know, if you're making, you know, 3% here and there, you know, that's that's not very much. I know that's $3, but those $3, you know, not only are you honing your skill, right? You could. That's the thing about trading, guys. It's a skill that you can take everywhere. So if you're trading with $30 with low leverage, the fees will not be too much, and you'll still be honing your skill, and you'll still be making profit. You'll still be making profit. I'd say that in order to actually get the profit, Mo, you need to make a significant percentage, like, you know, 2 to 3% at least. Otherwise, the fees might get you. But if you're in profit, you're in profit, man. When am I looking to enter along again, Rocco? You know, I already went over that, but let me go over it real quick again, and then I have to head out of here soon. But I am looking to enter along, especially when I get. There's a lot of places. You can go back and watch the stream, but basically, I'm waiting for a bottom on the 4-hour, an anchor wave that happens underneath this 60 line, this negative 60 line, and then I'm waiting for a trigger wave on the 4-hour, and once I get that trigger wave on the 4-hour, I'm coming over to the 24-minute, and I'm going to look for the money flow index crossing up into the green, and I'm going to look for a trigger wave. So we'll see what happens. I mean, right now, you know, we're coming up a little bit, right? But we have to look at overall market structure. Just because we're coming up in price doesn't mean we should enter along. We're still doing, you know, we had a high here, and then we had a lower high here, and unless we surpass this high, you know, we're still technically in a downtrend. So we have a lower high here, and we just keep forming these lower lows. Lower low, lower low, lower low. So be patient, guys. Be patient. Now, if you're risky, you know, yeah, just enter along right here, right? Because we're at a low price. A lot of people just buy the dip without looking into it anymore, and we're kind of in a dip. But I'm waiting until I get my confirmations. Yeah, 5.6 billion liquidated in the last 3 days. Like, that's crazy. So, Zaxi, how do we buy the bottom without it just keep dropping? Can you DCA into dips? Yes, you can DCA into dips, but the thing is, that's very important, is you need to have a plan, right? If you're going to DCA into dips, you need to look at the chart, and you need to mark out your levels of support and resistance, because, you know, you can't really use Market Cipher to DCA. You can, but you need to find confluence between things like trend lines, things like support and resistance levels, things like Fibonacci levels, and say to yourself, okay, I can tell that we're probably not going to dip below 41,000 because of all this support and resistance right here, resistance right here. Also that psychological level of that 42,000 level that it took us so long to break, the whole month of January. So you could say, okay, I might DCA in, at all the levels I had marked out previously. People were DCing in right here, right around here where we had another level, and then right here. And if we really want to go low, this was another huge level, the 31,000. So the problem is, and there was another level right here, about 37,000. The problem is, you don't know how far this is going to go, because you don't know if it's going to break a support until it breaks a support. When we get to a support like we did right here, look, we got to bounce off, and now we're coming up to test this. We're coming up to test this resistance now. We don't know what's going to happen at this resistance. We have to analyze it, unless you have a lot of money to DCA in to get a good cost, because we do know that Bitcoin's going to come back up. We know even if it comes all the way down here, it's going back up. So you need to really be careful with that. Make sure you don't get liquidated, and make sure that you're not betting so much money that you're freaking out and you can't sleep at night. That's why I wait for my Market Cipher confirmations. I mark my levels. I keep an eye on them, right? I see, okay, what's happening? What's happening? It doesn't look like we've reached the bottom yet on Market Cipher, so I'm not looking to enter along right now. I don't know. Are we going to reject off this resistance? I mean, if we take a look on the 4-hour, we are rejecting a little bit, So that's that. Yeah, green money. Now is the time to buy and hold. It's always the time to buy and hold, but if you can get in on a discount and you're just a hodler, hodl it. T Personal, when do I believe it's time to buy? Go back and watch this stream after it's over. Yeah, like Zaxi, yeah. Mark Anthony, thank you, man. I appreciate that. How do I make the TradingView alerts? You just get a quiet notification. Missed out on 2 to 3 good trades. Let me see if I can show you. You would come here, you'd right click to add an alert on the price, and then you just make sure you go to more actions and click play sound. It's that simple. And then you can choose your sound. I like the handbell. That's what I like. And also you can send it to your phone and get a louder notification through your phone. Yep, don't catch a falling knife. Oma1 Gaming, you got to be careful with that. You can do it if you have a lot of playroom before your liquidation price, right? I mean, like I would be shocked, to be honest with you, if Bitcoin dropped below, 30,000. I'd be shocked, utterly shocked. So if I knew that my liquidation was at 30,000 or 29,000, I might be comfortable entering along here, saying, okay, look, even if it goes all the way down to like 31,000, then I still am bullish on Bitcoin, so I'm still expecting it to come back up to like 80, 84, 85,000. So, even if I'm in a position and I lose, let's say it does, this is a, and we do minus 30% for a while, but then I know eventually I'm going to end up with an 83% gain. I could be okay with that if I don't feel like looking at the charts and I don't care about short-term volatility. It depends on a lot of things. I don't recommend it for newbies, and I even consider myself a newbie. Like I'm a very low-risk trader, guys. I'm super low risk. I don't see any reason why people would want to risk their capital at all. Like, obviously no risk, no reward, right? But it's about being smart. It's about waiting for confirmations. It's a probabilities game. It's a probabilities game. 50-50, Rory, that depends on you, man. Like, do I think 50-50 trading holding is good? It depends on you, man. I mean, for me, I'm a 85 hodler and a 15% trader, because I'm in this for the long game, man. I've been into cryptocurrency since 2016, and I'll tell you, man, if you're just a hodler, you're basically in a long. You're basically in a huge swing trade. I've been in a huge swing trade with Bitcoin since 2016, and I'm up, what, like 4,000% or more? you know. And so with the trading, yeah, you can speed that up a little bit. But if Bitcoin's really going to 300K, unless it gets so tempting when you have a lot of money in your account to do these crazy trades that you wouldn't want to do normally. But you know, that's just me, man. You do it. You do you. Yeah, green money. Bitcoin's my retirement fund too, man. I mean, I believe that this is an asset that's really going to be profitable. I mean, valuable in the future, especially what's going on right now. All the countries are devaluing their fiat currencies, and you know, we're going to head into a time of hyperinflation, and it's going to be really bad for a lot of people. You know, I know this isn't. You know, this channel is strictly for cryptocurrency, but seriously, guys, I mean, we're heading into some bad times. You know, get your crypto, get your precious metals. You know, get your you know, boom sticks if they're legal in where you are, and you know, try and like become as self-sufficient as possible, guys. Like, if you can, grow a garden, grow some food inside, get some chickens, get back to the older ways of life before everybody was so dependent on the system for their survival. You know, find a water source, find a food source. These things are important, guys. Obviously, you know, the internet for Bitcoin is important too, but it's about balancing everything and diversifying your assets, diversifying your livelihood. Yeah, Clinton's right, Rory. It's good to practice trading with 2 to 5% of your total capital. That's a good way to do it. Double EMA or triple? I usually just use, yeah, Zach, load up on Cardano. You're right. Yeah. You know, I just use usually one EMA. I usually use the 21 EMA. Sometimes I'll do like the you know, green, blue, yellow, red, the 8, 13, 21, 55 EMA. Sometimes. ADHD, that's great. Restrain. I am 30, man. I'm 30, bro. If you're a bro. Probably, according to my statistics. But, yeah. I'm 30. I feel super old, bro. You're literally just about to buy into Bitcoin for the first time. I want to buy when it's low, of course. Would you buy right now? I would buy right now. Kanik69. And here's why. Let me just show you real quick. This is a dip. We don't know when the tops and the bottoms are. And I'll tell you, people who wait to buy Bitcoin when we're already in a dip usually miss it. They usually miss it. And let's just be real, Kanik. Let's say this is technically a bad time to buy Bitcoin. Let's just say that, right? I don't think it is a bad time, but let's say it is a bad time to buy Bitcoin. Remember what happened? Well, you probably don't since you're just getting into Bitcoin. But in 2018, right? Oh, this actually doesn't go back that far. This does not go back that far. Let me find a different chart. Let's go to Coinbase because I know that they have it here. Okay, so let's say you had bought Bitcoin right here at the top, at the very top. I mean, it was like 20K, right? And look at this huge parabolic move, and you bought right here, and you're thinking, oh man, it's going to keep going up to 100K. And then what happens? You know, it crashes. Totally crashes all the way back down to like 3K, right? Even if you had bought here, okay, and you survived through that crash, you would still be up right now 200%. 200% in 3 years, okay? That's not bad. I don't think there really is a bad time to buy Bitcoin because, you know, if we look at this, you know, this chart doesn't go back really far, but if we look at these market cycles, it would not be out of the question. Look at this parabolic move back in 2018. It seemed so monumental to us back then. It seemed so crazy that Bitcoin was so high, right? And it seemed like it couldn't possibly go higher, but look at that little tiny blip. That 20,000 Bitcoin was such a little tiny blip. You know, it would not surprise me at all if we see this thing kind of come up to like here. Or even here. This market cycle. Toward the end. Toward the very end. So, if you're just buying to hold and you're not looking to trade, I would just buy and hold, man. And my strategy with buying and holding is every single month, right? I take a couple $100 and I buy crypto. I don't care what the price is. I don't care. When it comes to trading, I care. But when I'm just hodling, I don't care. And the reason I don't care is because I know that this thing is going to appreciate in value over time. Even if I buy the top, yeah, I might not be getting the best deal, okay? But I don't have time to worry about that. I know that the price is going to eventually go up, so I just buy and hold. VeChain, yeah, Zaxi, I think that's great. It's really going to solve an issue that's happening in our world right now, the supply chain issue. It's a great crypto to get into. Yeah, restrain. I think you could be right. We have some really key support levels down there. So, but we'll have to look and make sure we get confluence with our Market Cipher. Aaron, yeah, that's cool. Price is the same, breaking even. Wow, 234 viewers, 260 now, 264 according to my screen. Man, guys, I feel like a celebrity over here. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Darth Mike is playing around with $200. Made a fair bit with Matic and Polygon. That's cool, man. Yeah, it's fun to play around with stuff. Yeah, so Rory, if you just have like 2,000 euros, if you're looking to make this a full-time income thing, right? Here's how you have to look at this, man. You need to. It is possible, okay? It's totally possible, but you need to be in this for the long term, okay? So right now, hone your skill. Hone your skills. Get good. Become profitable. If you can become profitable with a little bit, okay, then you can become profitable with a lot. And if you're just starting out, okay, it's not good to be playing with a lot of money anyway, because there's too much emotion involved with that money. You're thinking this, like right now, if your mindset is, I have these 2,000 euros and I want this to be my full-time job, and the only way I can do that is by 10x leverage and entering these risky trades, you're going to get wrecked, man. Instead, you should look at this as, okay, I want to have a new job or a new career or profession, and so I need to get training. I need to practice, right? You don't just become a brain surgeon overnight. You need to go to school, you need to study, you need to learn. It's the same with this. It's the same with this. And if you can become profitable and successful with a small account, you can do the same thing with a large account. And just build it up over time. If you have 2,000 euros, right? And you're entering trades with just $200, euros or 250, and you're making these, huge long swing trades, right? You could easily make like $100, or more on these long swing trades and just slowly grow that account. Mo, I don't have social media, man. I have to be honest with you. I deleted Facebook a long time ago. I have an Instagram. I need to revamp it. I want to revamp this channel, guys. This is an older channel. I want to revamp it. I want to get a Discord so that we can all kind of share our ideas with each other and stuff. And I need to get back up on all that. But cool, Kanik. That's good. That's this is not financial advice, but I would also make that investment if I were you. But I'm just a guy on the internet, not giving financial advice. Yeah, Kanik. I mean, it's crazy how fast Bitcoin has grown, right? I mean, my wife, we decided, she had a pension and a 401k from her old job, which she quit. We took all that money, we put it into Bitcoin. It was a great decision, a great decision. And honestly, what is fiat? Even if you're making fiat currency in a traditional investment, right? Even if you're making 4%, even if you're making 10% a year in a traditional investment, the value of the dollar is going down. So since 1913, the dollar has lost 97% of its purchasing power. 97%. $1 used to be worth an ounce of gold in purchasing power. I'm sorry, $20 used to be worth 1 ounce of gold in purchasing power. $20 ain't going to get you an ounce of gold today. So even if you're collecting dollars and putting it in the bank and earning interest, your purchasing power is still going down, even though the number's going up. You bought more Litecoin. That's a great sad boy. Yes, Litecoin. So much potential with Litecoin. I am extremely bullish on Litecoin. In fact, I cannot wait to get some, and I'm waiting for until I get some cash, some fiat cash to go buy some Litecoin, because I'm telling you, man, March is going to be great for Litecoin. That's awesome. You got it at 166 bucks, man. I'm jealous, sad boy. I'm jealous. Yeah, F2 pool. You know, people are saying that. I hear that as well. I know some people say they can prove it. I don't know. I don't know. I have not looked into these types of conspiracies, but I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, Clinton and MU. I do want to start a Discord. I need to do it. Yeah, I need a Twitter. Restrain. I have a Twitter. It's a personal Twitter from back when I was a rock star. So I don't use that for crypto. I used to be a professional musician. I actually toured the world for 3 years before I did something different. It's interesting. Interesting stuff. Now I'm just a farm boy out here. King James, that's great. Buying Matic. I like that. King James, my favorite Bible translation. Yeah, CEC7, right? Like literally, the value of the $20 has been cut in half. Like in our memory, it's crazy. Let's see here. Steven Valdivia. It might, you know. If we look at the chart, though, wow, this is the weekly chart. If we go back to the, let's say, to the 4 hour, even the 6 hour, we can kind of see that, you know, historically these periods of consolidation tend to last maybe about a month. So I'm hoping mid-March, but March tends to be bearish in general for crypto. Just in general, tends to be bearish. I mean, I know we had the CV crash last year, but I think that just exacerbated just a natural market movement. Yeah, Clinton, I played guitar, man. I played electric guitar. Doge to the moon, yeah, might be. I don't know. Bullish on Cardano? Oh yeah, I'm super bullish on Cardano. Super bullish on Cardano. I have a huge bag of Cardano. Yeah, Kanik, you're right. The world is rigged to not get ahead for the working man. Yeah, we're honestly heading back to a period of just feudalism, literally, where we have the lords and the ladies who own everything, and we're just the serfs. We're going back to serfdom. You know, we see this happening, where people are becoming more and more reliant on the government. You know, people are, you know, the stimulus checks and all this, I mean, they're just setting us up to become serfs, where people cannot live their life unless mommy and daddy government help them. And they're creating a system in which we can't survive without them. It's crazy. Yeah, ADA, Clinton, you're right, man. The Traveler, ICX, I'm not familiar with. I have to be honest with you. Stuart, is it a good time to buy Cardano? I mean, it really depends, man. Like, are you trading it or are you holding it? I think everything's down. In fact, let's pull up CoinMarketCap right here. Let's pull up CoinMarketCap. Take a look at good old Cardano. I mean, it's not down that much, right? It's under $1. So, I mean, if you're holding it long term, I could see Cardano being $10 by the fall. At least $5. I could. Not financial advice, because I'm just a YouTuber. I'm just a guy out here living in the country on a farm. You know, I don't know nothing. What do us country folk know? Anyway, we're stupid. We don't even know what the internet is. What do you mean by this Bitcoin thing, you know? Yeah, it's actually, I agree. If it's under $1, I think that's good. Adam, Rocco, yeah, I'm bullish on Adam. I think that would be a great investment. And Stewart, yep, VeT, VeChain, taking the kicking today. That's all right. Good time to buy. Good time to buy. And that's good, Zaxi, you know. It's good to take profits. You have a good plan in place. Kanig, yes. Mostly, when Bitcoin goes down, all the other cryptos tend to follow. Bitcoin is the leader of the pack. But when Bitcoin consolidates, now when Bitcoin crashes, everything crashes. Mostly, when Bitcoin consolidates, that's when the altcoins really take off. And we saw that happen back here in January, where Bitcoin was consolidating, and we saw all the altcoins are doing crazy things. Ethereum's hitting new all-time highs, Cardano's hitting new all-time highs, EOS is hitting new all-time highs, everything's hitting new all-time highs. And then once Bitcoin decides to, you know, wake up and go crazy, that's when like altcoins are still going up, but not like they were, you know, back when Bitcoin was consolidating. So there's a lot of info out there about that on the interwebs, about alt season and all that. Do I think BNB will come back stronger? You know, John, I don't know. I definitely wish I had gotten some earlier. It's so funny because on my Binance account, it's always trying to ask me if I want to convert my tiny little things into BNB, and I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. But it's funny how Binance has really evolved over the past few years. When I first started trading on Binance back in 2017, you know, it was a speculative exchange. People were like concerned about it, if it's like a scam or something, but now it's become like, you know, it's become a staple. But I don't know. I haven't done a lot of analysis on it. So is the ETH Bitcoin divide a worry? I heard that at one point ETH market cap was 50% of Bitcoin. I don't think it's a worry, because here's the thing: ETH and Bitcoin are they're not like, it's not like you're comparing Ethereum and EOS, where they both basically do the same thing, but one's going to win out. Bitcoin is completely different than Ethereum. Ethereum has a much wider use case, you know, for the smart contracts and transactions, and Bitcoin is simply just a peer-to-peer means of exchange, just a decentralized currency. So I don't think they will compete with each other. What I think, guys, about crypto in general is just like how when the internet came out and we have all these companies that are all making hardware and software, and it's all integrated, right? I can text an Android phone with an iPhone over the internet, and you know, I can use a Mac and a PC and all these different types of softwares to do the same thing, and they all are integrated together in this network called the World Wide Web. I think we're going to see a very similar thing with the blockchain space, where like we're going to have certain blockchains that connect to other blockchains, and it's all going to be this one kind of unified entity, which I believe in eventually is going to be used to enslave mankind. But for right now, it's very liberating for us. So, you know, get on while you can. Kusama, man, Funk D, I missed out on that pump. I unfortunately have not even done any research into it until I found out that it was pumping. So, Kanik, yeah, man, I would buy Bitcoin. I mean, I'm a big Bitcoin believer, but that's just me, man. Litecoin, super bullish on it. Salon, sorry if I didn't pronounce that right, man. I'm bullish on it. I think it's going to have a great month. All right, or if we have a period of consolidation for Bitcoin, I think some of these alts, these top 100 alts like Litecoin, are really going to take off. And Bitcoin Cash too. You know, because a lot of new people coming into crypto, they don't even understand what this stuff is, and you know, Litecoin in like the blue pill crypto space is like the silver to Bitcoin's gold, right? So I feel like a lot of new investors are going to come in and say, oh, Litecoin, the silver to Bitcoin's gold, I'm going to stack up on this, right? Because it's so cheap. And same with Bitcoin Cash. People don't know what that even is, so I feel like people are going to be buying that kind of thing. And Dogecoin, man, the most prestige cryptocurrency in the block space world. Just kidding. But man, congratulations on people who... Why is ADA a good investment? Because of the usage. Because of what it will be able to be used for. and it provides a solution to a problem, which is very necessary. So, you know, before you guys invest in anything, do your research on it, and you know, it's just like investing in anything. Bobby Dobby, yeah, I do think that. I do think that. I'm not going to say that term starts with an N, but yes, I believe that the power of blockchain is going to be harnessed for that, and to basically enslave humans for sure. Bobby Dobby, yep, for sure, man. You know, I mean, I am a Christian, and I take Bible prophecy very seriously, and you know, it's amazing to see what was prophesied 2,000 years ago. How it would have been impossible for there to be a one world net of control with a one world currency, with a surveillance system that was so precise that it had the power to kill you remotely. You know, I mean, it's scary to see these things happening, but for now, we can use this to our advantage in the meantime. You know? Balls on toast. Let's not get into religion here. Hey man, this is my channel, right? I just am who I am. You know? You don't have to watch. Renee, hi Jason. In your videos you talk about back testing. I'm looking, can you please show us how we back test in TradingView? Yeah, absolutely. So here's how we do it. You come into TradingView, and really there's two ways to do it. One, you can just look at the past. The most simplest way is, let's say you're back testing the idea that every time you see a green dot on the 4-hour you're going to buy. So you look for a green dot, you come up to that candlestick, you take your measuring and you see, okay, how much would I have made if I entered this trade? You would have made 11%. Oh wow, that's pretty good. And then you just do that to every green dot. Of course, you know, that's a very simple way. You want to test multiple confirmations at the same time across multiple time frames if you're using Market Cipher. The second way to do it is replay mode, where you can just click right here. Let me show you. Replay. And then you take this and click right here. And then you can watch the price action happen as if it's happening in real time, and you control when the other candlesticks print. And then you can enter, let's say, a short position. You say, okay, I'm going to enter a short position because we printed this red dot right here, and I'm going to see what would happen. I'm going to set my stop loss above the last swing high. I'm going to set my take profit down here at the last swing low because I think we're in a downtrend and we're probably going to make a lower low. And then you just click play and see what would have happened here. What would have happened? So you would have won this trade, and it would have taken you, let's see, oh, this doesn't tell you how many days that was, but this will. So this would be, you would have won this trade in 6 days, 18 hours. So that's how you would more thoroughly backtest, and it takes time. And when you're backtesting, keep track. How many trades did you make? Did you make 100 trades? Out of that 100, how many won? How many lost? Did 80 win and 20 lose? Okay, you have an 80% win rate. That's great. That is a great strategy. Let's see what else. Exodus 21, Leto, Idaho. I'm pretty sure that's where God lays out the judgments, right? After the 10 Commandments in Exodus 20, he lays out all the judgments for Israel. But yeah, man, I don't really know what you're referring to there. The same families have owned the banks. Yep. Darth Mike, you're right, man. You're right. I agree. I do agree. Zaxi, Bitcoin down 10%. Headline, Bitcoin is dead, bubble burst. Yeah. You're new to crypto, Dina Jane, and you came across my live. Any tip for a beginner like me? Wow. If you're totally new to crypto, I would just start by, you know, doing some research on what it is. I would take a look at some of the basic cryptos in the top 10 of CoinMarketCap. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Polkadot, Cardano, Litecoin, Chainlink. Just do some research, and then get on Coinbase and buy some crypto and be in it for the long term. Like, don't buy it, and if it goes down a little, sell it. Like, if you're gonna buy it, hold it for the long term, because nobody who's bought Bitcoin in the past and held it is upset today. That's a tip I would give to a beginner. Let me see. Yeah, First Name, that's Coin Bureau. That's a great channel. Yeah, check it out. That's a great channel. Do I think Ethereum will outperform Bitcoin this year like it did last year? Freddie Johns, as far as market cap goes, I don't think so. I don't think Ethereum will outperform Bitcoin. That's just me, but it might. Are we talking about market cap, or what are we talking about? Percentage growth? I think Ethereum will grow a more percent in price, but I don't think its market cap will surpass that of Bitcoin. Octacoin, 8 legs of support. I like that. Yeah. The green dot confirms when the candlestick closes. Okay, percentage growth. Yeah, I think ETH will outperform Bitcoin percentage growth for sure. For sure, because every time we have these market cycles, the percentage growth gets smaller and smaller. I think Ethereum is probably kind of doing right now what Bitcoin did back in 2017, where it went from like 3K to 20K. I think we could see that happen this market cycle for sure. For sure. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. I'm going to end the stream now. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the future. Thank you so much. Take care, y'all.